A 170-pound Rottweiler that 3 families returned, a shelter that warned everyone to walk away, and a man who didn't listen. 6 days later, at exactly 3:17 a.m., that dog cornered an intruder in the kitchen and didn't move for 13 minutes. This is the story of Hades, and nobody saw it coming. The shelter worker looked Marcus straight in the eyes and said it plainly. Don't do it. She wasn't being rude. She wasn't trying to be difficult. She had worked with dogs for 11 years, and she knew what she was looking at. A 170-pound Rottweiler with a history, a dog so intensely protective that 3 different families had walked him back through those same doors. A dog that the staff had quietly nicknamed the Warden, because once Hades decided something was his to protect, nothing on earth was moving him. Marcus listened to every word she said, and then he looked back at Hades. Hades didn't bark, didn't pace, didn't perform. He just sat there, massive, still, and dark as midnight, and looked at Marcus with those heavy, unblinking eyes, like he was the one doing the evaluating, like he had already decided something, and he was simply waiting for Marcus to catch up. Marcus felt it, that pull, that strange, wordless certainty. "I'll take him," he said. The shelter worker exhaled slowly. "Sir, he's been returned 3 times. I heard you. He's not aggressive, but he is intense. He doesn't let things go." Marcus almost smiled. "Neither do I." Hades hadn't always been a problem. His first owner had raised him from a puppy, a working dog on a small property, trained for protection, bred for it. For the first 3 years of his life, he had a job, a purpose, a reason to be exactly who he was. Then the owner moved. An apartment, no yard, no perimeter to patrol, no reason for a 170-pound Rottweiler who lived to guard. The first family who adopted him lasted 9 days. They said he followed them everywhere, wouldn't let strangers through the front door, stood between their children and anyone he didn't recognize. Too much, they said, too intense. The second family lasted 3 weeks, same story. The third, 4 days. By the time Hades arrived at the shelter for the final time, he had spent 214 days behind kennel doors. Staff fed him, walked him, cared for him, but nobody stayed. Nobody claimed him, and slowly, quietly, the light behind those dark eyes began to dim. He still did his rounds every morning, still watched every door, still positioned himself between the staff and any unfamiliar sound. Some habits don't break, they just wait. Stories like his are exactly why some dogs never stop looking for the one person who gets it. Marcus owned a farmhouse 40 minutes outside the city, 12 acres, a long gravel driveway, the kind of property that sits in the dark at night, with no streetlights, no neighbors within shouting distance, and no margin for error if something went wrong. He'd been looking for a protection dog for 8 months. He hadn't been looking for this dog, but there Hades was. The plan was simple: ease him in, spend a week at the city house first, let Hades adjust, decompress, figure out the new rhythms before introducing him to open land. Day 1, Hades found every exit in the house within 2 hours. Day 2, he chose his sleeping spot, directly in front of the front door. Not on the bed Marcus offered, not on the couch, the front door, like he already knew what his job was. By day 4, Marcus started to understand what all those families had been afraid of. Hades didn't bark at sounds. He went silent, head up, ears forward, body rigid, like a statue carved out of pure focus. And he would stay that way, completely motionless, until whatever he'd heard either explained itself or went away. It was unsettling if you didn't understand it. If you did, it was extraordinary. I still see you haven't subscribed. Honestly, that breaks my heart. Hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss what happens next. It was a Thursday night, 6 days into the trial week. Marcus had gone to bed at 11. The house was quiet. The kind of deep, heavy quiet that only exists when you're far enough from everything that the world forgets about you. At 3:17 a.m., Hades went completely still. He had been asleep near the bedroom door, but something, a sound too small for human ears, a shift in the air, a shadow moving wrong, pulled him out of it instantly. No groaning, no slow wake-up. One moment he was down, the next he was standing, facing the hallway, every muscle in his body locked and loaded. Marcus didn't hear anything, but he felt the change in the room. He opened his eyes to find 170 pounds of Rottweiler standing in the doorway like a wall, staring toward the back of the house. Then a sound, glass, subtle, almost nothing. Almost. Hades moved. Not with noise, not with chaos, with terrifying, deliberate precision, down the hallway, around the corner, and into the kitchen. By the time the intruder had one leg through the broken back window, he found himself staring directly into the eyes of something that had absolutely no intention of letting him finish that sentence. Hades didn't attack. He didn't need to. He planted himself 18 inches from the man's face, all 170 pounds of him, and he held. A low, rolling sound from somewhere deep in his chest. Not a bark, not a growl, something older than that. Something that said with complete clarity, "You are not going anywhere." The man didn't move. He couldn't. He was cornered between the window frame and a dog that outweighed him by 40 pounds and had decided, in that ancient and absolute way that only certain dogs can decide, that this was his house and this man had no business in it. Marcus called the police at 3:21 a.m. Officers arrived at 3:34 a.m. In those 13 minutes, Hades never moved, never broke eye contact, never gave an inch. Some dogs protect because they're trained to. Hades protected because it was simply who he was. It was all he had ever been. The officer who took the report looked at Hades, still positioned in the kitchen doorway, still watching, and then looked at Marcus. "That's some dog," he said. Marcus didn't say anything. He just put his hand on Hades' broad head, and Hades leaned into it, slowly, heavily, the way a dog leans when he is finally, after a very long time, found where he belongs. 3 families had given up on him. A shelter had held him for 214 days. Everyone who saw him saw the size, the stillness, the intensity, and they walked away. Nobody saw what Marcus saw that first day through the kennel glass.